Gwar, 40 shocking years.
Gwar, the band from hell.
1.3 million album sales, 22 releases, 319 songs, 200 million streams, and 50 million video views. 2,601 shows, 2 million tickets sold, 2,418 politicians and public figures killed, decapitated, flayed, or otherwise eviscerated on stage.
They've already been banned.
Banned in 3 countries in the 90s. 10 feature-length films, 11 comic books, 26 TV appearances, 3 strategic war games, 1 crack-addicted dinosaur. 347,559 parents terrified, 4 popes enraged, 2 arrests, 1 phallus confiscated, 0 convictions. 1 bar, countless tragedy, 2 Grammy nominations, 40 years of shock rock, still your lords and masters.
Lord lives, motherfucker!
And still, Beavis and Butthead's favorite band. Gwar, 40 shocking years.
Be the worst. Des Moines, Iowa, destroyed by Gwar and Static Hammer. Well, don't you know I'm sick of you? You're the first to say I've ever had you to say I'm you. I'm so sick of you. I'm sick of you. I'm so sick of you. I'm sick of you.
Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair. Send in the clowns. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve?
Imagine Alice Cooper with about 1/100th the money.
If the Cramps had been a heavy metal band.
Crazy as H, blood-splattered, ear-splitting hilarity.
The Wizard of Oz meets splatter horror films.
The gag is, you're in the splash zone.
You're covered with goo and blood, and if you're not completely soaked, you didn't have a haunted garage show.
It's like going to a horror movie, except it's actually happening.
It's basically walking into the most brutal, gory film right in front of your face.
It was probably the best part of my life.
I think of him as a guy with commitment to his art.
That's Dookie. I mean, he wants to take it as far as he can take it.
You gotta see this band.
Wait a minute, you're gonna get this.
Oh, thank you.
Slam, slam, slam!
Always smooth and natural and refreshing. So don't just reach for a beer.
Hello, it's me, Kevin. Oh, no, I'm gone again. There I am. Hey, guys. Hello, it's me, Kevin Vonesper. If you're watching this, you have found the GWARPod, and oh my God, is it an exciting time to be a Gwar fan. So much stuff is happening. There's toys, there's tours, there's coffee, there's tribute bands aplenty. And I'm so psyched tonight we have on Faith No Gwar, which is like some weird idea that I would have had in 4th grade, being like, I'm going to take my favorite bands, Gwar and Faith No More, and put them together and dress like clowns, and everyone's going to love it. And somebody actually went and did that. And this is my little monologue section, so I got to show off a few things. First of all, just because there's so much happening, I don't even know where to start. I saw Gwar last night with Static X in Connecticut. It was awesome. I have some clips and photos to share with you from the show. The big takeaway, and it's kind of weird seeing Gwar as an opening band, right? But But the big takeaway for me was how many people were there. There was way bigger crowd than a normal Gwar headlining show, and so many of them seeing Gwar for the first time, leaving, probably lifelong fans, hopefully, because how do you see Gwar and not be a lifelong fan? I mean, they totally crushed it. The new lineup is just on fire. They have a new music video and song released, I think 2 days ago, called The Great Circus Train Disaster. And don't kill me if I got that wrong. I've only heard it once. It was great. It's fast, it's punk rock, it's totally Gwar. And let's see, what else is there? Here's one of my purchases from the merch booth last night. The new Gwar coffee. That's right. Berserker mode. Yes, I had, what was it called? The Espresso Destructo once I drank on the show, and it was good. I just brewed myself some. I am going to taste it for the first time live on the air right now. Let's see if I have to go running out. It's because of, I'm sure it's going to flow straight through me, just like the last one did. Let's see. Cheers, guys. It's pretty good. It's mixed with milk and sugar, of course. I recommend get yourself some Berserker what is it called? Berserker mode coffee. It's at the merch booth. And here's something else I didn't know I was going to come home with last night. They're selling flags, you guys. Gwar flags. And I'm like, okay, I need that. That's a perfect background for the show. Next to my Gwar cave over here, which has all my toys and all the posters and releases. This is also new. This blacklight poster from Mischief Toys, who since the last episode released their, I think this is called the Balzac Minion. Here's the Gwar.net exclusive blue splattered version. And I also got a random one from Mischief Toys. No splatter. I couldn't believe it, but that's okay. So here's my minions. They're going to hang out with me. Not exactly Gwar related, but I have to mention it because we're talking about concept bands here. Another one of my favorites is back, active, and technically responded to me saying maybe he would do a show with me one day. Andrew WK, More People with White Shirts and Blood. I had a show called AWK Files for a while. I kind of stopped because I was too busy, but it may be time to bring it back. Just wanted to let you guys know Andrew WK is back. Okay, what else do I have to say? Like, share, and subscribe, you guys. Help me fight the algorithm. And the super chats are on as well if you want to really support this show. It does cost me a little bit of money to put on this show. Not a lot, but it'd be nice if you appreciate me, do that. Or go to vonesper.bandcamp.com and get my CD here, Kevin Vonesper's Quarantine Dream, which every cover is hand drawn. There's a bonus track that's not available online. Go check it out. Actually, kind of leading into this conversation here, one of my collaborators on that album is Imani Coppola, who I first heard of in a band called Peeping Tom when she played live in Mike Patton's band Peeping Tom. I got some props here for you. Of course, we love props on this show. I had to dig through My Faith No More. I gotta tell you guys, before I knew who Gwar was, it must have been, I think, Christmas in 1990. I don't want to do the math and tell you how old I was. I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and I got this tape under the tree from my brother, the real thing, and it was, I didn't know back then, or it's hard to tell now how much this really shaped my life because I was so young, but the originality and pure rockness of this album was definitely a huge influence in my life. And I got to show you, I got the videotapes. I got my CD collection here, all my Faith No More albums, except the first one. Someone bought that from me on Discogs recently, and I got to get the update with the remastered version sometime. Yeah, I got some of my Mike Patton side projects here. Phantomus, of course, all my Mr. Bungles, which is clown related. I think we're going to talk about clowns a little bit today. God, I think I'm done. Do you want to see a little clip from the show last night? And then we will get on with the show with Faith No Gwar. Thank you guys for letting me rant a little bit. It's just so many Gwar things happening. Oh yeah, I didn't even show you the stickers I got from Mischief Toys and Gwar with this new toy that they released. I mean, they're holographic. They're super cool. I don't know. I think they might be all sold out now, but you should go and check. Here's some Mischief Toys ball sack. Super cool. And there's a pin too. I don't know if it might glow in the dark. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll try that out later. Okay. What do I got here? Here's a little clip from the show and then Faith No Gwar.
GWARPod comes from on GWARPod. 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 GWARPod.
Hello.
What's up?
How did I do? How did I do on my monologue? It was a little long today, but there's so much to talk about.
Oh, so much. Wow, that was great. That was great.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Well, we got Piggy D and Kevin Angel. Did I say that right? Or is it Angle?
Angel.
Angel. I got it right the first time.
Yes,
Because he's an
sir.
angel. For that reason, I won't kick him out for being another Kevin. He's welcome here.
What are the odds?
All right. I got a little icebreaker question for you guys. I didn't know how many of you were going to show up, but and Kevin, I want you to answer first because I think Piggy's answer is going to lead us into the rest of the show.
Okay.
But tell me, what was the first band you were ever in? What was it called, and what was the vibe?
My first band that I was ever in was a local, my high school buddies. We got together because my brother is also in FNG with he's the drummer. So we grew up with music, and we needed a couple of guys that were on our level, on our wavelength. And we found somebody else that's played guitar and bass, and we're like, hey, want to jam? Come over, see what happens. And I can't remember. Oh,
what was it called?
Oh my God, we're going.
You don't know the name of your first band?
Serium. That's what it was.
Serium. How do you spell that?
Serium.
What does that mean?
It was basically at the time an idea that our current singer had. Oh my God, it's been so long that I can't even remember. It was just a concept that he thought of one of the lyrics of a song that we had at the time. And I'm like, hey, that sounds pretty cool. Like that. What is that? Like that kind of has a cool little ring, simple, nothing crazy. And let's just do that. Like we just wanted to play at the time.
Did he make up that word, or does that word have a meaning?
I believe it has a mean. It was a word, and he added a S, or he did something to it that was like, oh, well, that sounds cool, like like a Megadeth. You just get rid of the A kind of thing,
Right. And so some of those members are also now in Lords of Sin, you're saying?
Well, my brother is, we've been jamming for years, since obviously we picked up instruments for about 25 years, give or take. Me and him have been always going at it, trying to find musicians. This is why it was difficult for me to remember my first band name, because we were just in so many, just different people, different sounds, different places, and people and names. Oh my God, the names.
And Serium, was that a metal band, or did you do covers, or what did you play?
It was more of an original band. Yeah, we kind of sounded like I would like to say Korn meets like 90s Metallica, I would say.
Okay, sure. Cool. Piggy?
That's really cool. I actually didn't know that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, you threw me off guard, man. That was a great surprise.
Thank you. Wow.
Had to dig in memory bank for that one.
Good icebreaker. Oddly enough, I had a high school buddy that was the first guy I jammed with, and he was into Gwar, and that's what we bonded over. And some of the first songs we learned were Scumdog songs.
Wow.
And out of the blue, just 10 minutes before I came on the chat today, he texted me. He's getting married next January, and he's doing a chat. But we're still friends. This was 1990, whenever Scumdogs came out. I mean, it was
91, I believe it came out. Maybe.
Yeah, it was a new record.
Yeah.
Wow. We were so jazzed on it. So that wasn't the first band I was in. The band kind of formed a few months after that, but with somebody else. But like that was the first guy I ever jammed with, and it was Gwar songs.
And what was it called? Did you have any theatrics?
He played bass and I played guitar, and we would just jam in the garage because his dad had an amp or something. And
Gotcha.
the first band I was in that actually played a gig was a band called Ocean of Bones.
That's great. Okay, tell me about Ocean of Bones.
The bass player hand painted the backdrop with like that puff paint from like the craft store.
Uh-huh.
And then it's this massive skull in like a bowl of water or something. And I still have it.
That's great.
That was like 1991.
That's rad.
I should have hung for the.
I know. Wouldn't that be great? We'll have a reunion. We'll do another show.
I did the same thing with one of my banners. Did the whole backdrop, but the projector on the image, and then just traced it, and then colored it in. Like totally DIY thing. I love it.
Hell yeah. Like we were saying before, you got to create what you want to see in the world, right? So
totally.
DIY, just like my CDs, hand painted or hand drawn covers. You just got to do it yourself.
Yes, I love it. I love that.
So I know I thought this first question was going to lead somewhere else, Piggy, because I heard you in an interview once talk about one of your first bands being a theatrical band.
Yeah, the first.
Which band was that?
That was a band called the She Demons. That was the first
Demons,
band.
that's right.
That was the first band I had that like tried to make records and tried to play out of town. And
did you? Because I couldn't find anything much about it.
We did, and we opened for a lot of like national touring bands at the time. Like the Jenna Tortures were coming up, but we used to open for them. We were just kind of like
I just filmed them at Dark Force Fest like 2 months ago.
We were just the weirdo. I grew up in Houston, so we had ZZ Top and country music and some great Southern rock and some rock and roll stuff. But like as far as the art scene goes, man, like it was whoever showed up to that party was,
the coolest people in town.
Cool. It was cool. Like there was some cool hardcore bands and some cool art rock bands in that scene. And we were just this weird transvestite. We wrote songs about horror movies, but they were really abstract and weird and rock-ish.
Okay.
I rarely wear underwear in that band, and when I did, it was pretty interesting.
Right.
It was really just a bizarre experiment, kind of like this.
Right. That's why I thought this would lead into this conversation.
So I've always been kind of on the fringe, for better or worse, of when I start bands. It's usually, or projects like that. I usually have to find something in it that's really going to hold my interest because, it can.
Did the She Demons not hold your interest, or what happened?
It did for 5 years. It did, did for
Are there any recordings out there?
There are.
They're buried somewhere.
Wrangled most of them. Yeah. The songs are cool. I wish the record sounded better, but I was learning.
Sure.
And I'm happy for that. I learned how to print T-shirts. I learned how to make album cover art. I learned typography. I learned how to press records. I learned how to market records, all the wrong way.
Mm.
I learned all of that by doing it, back and, hey, go and flyer for your show. And hey, we have records available at the store. And like, it's crazy the amount of work that used to go into doing all of this. And now you can do it from your laptop and launch your whole campaign without even leaving your house.
Right.
Wow,
I know. How
it's-
many shows have you been flyering with Faith No Gwar flyers, You're not standing outside the whiskey every night giving them out?
Yeah.
I've thought about it so bad. I'm like, I'm gonna print out a few, just
Oh,
going.
Pretty
old
Boy
school.
Floyd was just there.
Yeah.
That's the drummer from the Genitorturers.
Oh yeah, right.
So there's a connection there somewhere.
Nice.
I guess tell me a little bit about your backgrounds with theatrical rock bands. Like, what were your favorites growing up? Like, what really got you into this? I know you got into Gwar pretty early. Was there anything before that?
I loved Kiss. I loved Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper was really the reason I got into the music business in the first place. That show changed my life.
Which show did you see? What was the first one?
I saw the Trash tour, and that was
Nice.
the beginning of 1990.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know much about him. He was on the radio then, and Trash was a big record. But I wasn't. I was almost 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know much. I just knew the new songs, and I went. And that show melted my brain. The next day, I went to the mall and I bought his greatest hits collection, and then I was like, "Wow, I love every one of these songs." And so I mowed lawns, and I would save my lawn money, and every 2 weeks I could buy another record. So I started with like the first one with like Pretty's for You.
Wow.
And that I was grateful I gave myself that experience, because if you go that deep with Alice Cooper, before they were Alice Cooper, they were just Alice Cooper. If you really, that shit'll crack your brain open, man. Like, you get exposed to that's art rock at its finest. And so by the time I could drive a car and go see shows, I was primed. I was like, yeah, I'll go see Megadeth and I'll go see metal bands I like, but I'll go see weird shit. I used to go see Karen Black every time they were in town.
The voluptuous horror of.
Yeah, we opened for them. A couple times.
Nice.
Man, there was just so many amazing bands from back in that time, and they would all either play Houston or Austin, so they were accessible.
Right.
If
I
rock
met Kimbra once.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's interesting.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was such a fearless era of rock music making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And there was so much money in the music industry to just kind of throw out to weird projects and see where it goes too.
Or not, but there was this sense of like, you know what? I can call myself whatever and wear whatever and play whatever, and fuck it if people don't like it. There was a real liberation going on with guitars, with, every community, really. Where, it was cool. It was a cool time. It was a cool time to be cutting your teeth in music.
Are we excited about the new Alice Cooper record with the original members?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I mean,
Definitely.
why not? Yeah.
I'll check it out.
I'm curious to hear for sure.
Yeah. And what about you, Kevin? What's your background with theatrical music?
I'm honestly pretty much, I think this is why me and Piggy get along, because everything he mentioned was pretty much spot on as to how I grew up. And Kiss huge, like huge. I'm not kidding. Like, I have their lunchbox like right here.
Nice.
So like, it's just huge. And that took me down a big rabbit hole. Alice Cooper, everything that was just the theatrics, and to a point, even like Pink Floyd, not themselves, but their visual approach.
I mean, The Wall, that was one of the craziest visual tours ever made.
Yeah,
exactly. Things like that. And of course, finding out about Gwar was like a adrenaline's version of like everything, like just got juiced up, and I was like, what the? I remember I think it was Sounds of the Underground tour, and at the time I was like around high school time. I'm like,
Okay.
looking up every band that was on that list.
Yeah, I was there in New Jersey.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
I went 2 years in a row. Yeah.
Nice. That
Cannibal
lineup.
Corpse, Horse the Band played one of them.
Lamb
Converge.
of
It was
God,
crazy.
Blood, everything. It was a mixture of so many different bands that to me Gwar stood out, and I'm like, what? Oh my God.
Was that your first Gwar show?
Yeah, yes. I was
Okay.
like, oh my God, like
You
this
didn't
is
know about them in the early 90s, like Piggy?
well, I heard about them and I did
Mhm.
hear some of their stuff, but I really wasn't like I didn't go into like, oh, I'm gonna check them out, I'm gonna get their tape or their
Mhm.
CD or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let me see if any. And at the time, nobody was really into it as much as I was. I was like that weird artsy photography kid and just nerd, you know what I mean? And it was a little difficult to find people that were on my wavelength. So it was kind of like, oh, well, let me go listen to this in my little private room.
Right,
And, you know,
right.
I had my list and things like that. So my full blown out experience was the Sounds of the Underground for sure. That was just everything, the live, the performance, the visuals in your face. I was like, what?
Mhm.
Oh,
Piggy,
But,
do you remember? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
I was gonna say, do you remember your first Gwar show?
I do. It was Scum Dogs. It was Scum
Where
Dogs.
was it?
It was in Houston. They came through, if I remember correctly, they came through twice.
Mhm.
I saw I saw the show twice on that tour. And man, it was. I mean,
they must have been playing smaller places back then, right?
Yeah, and we would play the same. The She Demons played the
Mhm.
same places, and obviously they were less full. But Gwar could pull a crowd in Texas. It seemed like in all the markets, pretty good. So they were there. They were there pretty often. And then I didn't see him. I didn't see him on Hello. It was Scum Dogs when I finally saw him. But I knew all the songs. I knew every drum beat. I knew every. And when America came out, I saw him at least 2 or 3 times on that tour, and you know,
nice.
But yeah, that made an impression on me. I still have all the shirts from the shows. I have everything.
Are they're like the blood soaked shirts?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
The white ones at least. I took my girlfriend one time. I just bought her a shirt before the set started, and she got pulled into the World Maggot and threw her shirt to me. And some guy jumped in front of me and landed and caught the shirt. And it's the only time I ever got in a fight at a show.
Wow.
We like fell on the ground and we were punching the shit out of each other. And she was like, I just remember seeing like these sneakers go into the maggot's mouth. And I was like, bye.
See you on the other side.
Maybe I'll see you after the show.
Yeah. That's great. So tell me about Faith No More. Like, how did you get into Faith No More, and what's the story with that?
I totally connected with your intro. It was Real Thing. That record, man, oh my God. Top 10, like most important musical moments in my life. Easily.
Yeah, I don't think I realized it at the time, but it was just like, it's kind of just seeped into me, you know, I think throughout the years, and it's just part of me somehow.
It is. It's a part of me too. At the time, I was never a video game guy, but I only had like 3 Nintendo games. And one of them I had was this weird game called Fester's Quest, which was the Addams Family Uncle Fester game.
I kind of remember that. Yeah.
Bizarre.
I remember it existing. I don't know if I played it.
You're eating light bulbs. It's very bizarre.
I vaguely remember playing that too, actually.
And I listened to The Real Thing every day, like on a summer vacation. I think maybe 5, 6, 7 times a day for like months on end. It's on a cellular level. I understand and appreciate that record.
And that blue tape, you know.
Yeah, man.
It's like the original, man. And of course, there's like Black Sabbath cover on here as well. I'm sure that resonated.
You know what I realized early, because even as a kid, I wrote poetry and stuff. I always had a little bit of a penchant for writing.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed early that Dave and Mike were both exceptional lyricists and could talk about things, veiled, not veiled. They could get to the heart of the matter if they wanted to, and they could also fluff things nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Like in high school, I was studying a lot of creative writing. I was studying a lot of like American literature. That's what I was really gonna. That was my backup plan. Was I was going to be an English teacher and teach English lit. So I was very much a lyric guy with Gwar the moment I discovered them. And so I was along for the ride to get to get Covered in Blood, but I was there on a musical level too. I connected musically with what they were doing. I thought musically it was smart, but they could write these ridiculous songs like Slaughterama that,
Mm-hmm.
you on this game show journey and have these weird moments. And Faith No More, left to their own devices, could do the same thing.
That's
they
true.
could have these weird, we're going to cover Midnight Cowboy.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Because we fucking feel like it.
Yeah.
And so they were very much different bands, but there was that sense of just liberated artistic freedom that they both had and still have. And that was always connective tissue for me. Bands that were just absolutely fearless in what they could talk about and what they could pull off musically. The combination of that made bands to me. Like that's why we're still talking about The Real Thing all these years later, because that album's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
That album is one of my favorites of about them.
And so is Scumdogs.
I think
Kevin, what's your history?
The factors that Piggy just mentioned is one of the huge reasons why I personally am attracted to Faith No More. Like let's say the first reason why, when I heard Faith No More, I was like, oh my God, yeah. The instant next song was just completely different from the first one, and so it just took you on this great journey that you weren't sure where it was gonna head to, but you loved it. Going back to that album, one of my favorite songs is Zombie Eaters, and it just, that song to me, like, I feel like expresses Faith No More as a band, because they could, like Piggy said, they're like Zombie Eater, the word, the lyrics in it, that the story it tells, it's like eerily intriguing, and it just captivates.
Kind of scary too, right?
Yeah.
Like legitimately, you listen to it and you're like, oh, this is like really creepy.
Like, yeah. And then the music just behind it, I'm like, I could picture myself being a fly on the wall, like while they're writing this, like, wow, look, they're just jamming out, like they're just vibing off of this song, and it's real, like the album, it's a real thing. So I mean, that is a huge factor as to why me personally, I am attracted to these bands, because of their weirdness of combining these songs and sounds and instruments and making it work. Matt, like, just, I mean, oh my God, just putting everything together was just like, yeah, it makes sense.
Great. Yeah. Well, let's get into it. Those are some pictures from the show. I'll get back to that. Faith No Gwar, here's some of your flyers. All right. I mean, how I don't even know where to start with this. This is just so fucking crazy. Why, what's the story here? Just like lead me off somewhere. How do you put these things together conceptually and then actually make a band out of it?
Piggy's the driver behind this.
But about 7 years ago, I had an idea for it was written as a piece of just performance art. I thought about filming it and making a short out of it. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Spinal Tap and all
There's
the.
a new one coming out.
Oh yeah, and all this and all the spinoffs like Mighty Wind and all the Christopher Guest movies, Best in Show. I love
Yeah.
ensembles, and I love musical. I love musical movies, and I had this idea for a band of just guys that kind of felt marginalized by society, that would adopt their favorite band's music as something that they felt represented their feelings. And Gwar was always that band. And Faith No More was an idea that I had too, but smushing the two of them together came later. But the impetus of the idea is about 7 years old. So at one point, I played a clown car mechanic in the Rob Zombie show, and I would change up my character every few years, and I had a lot of fun with that character.
That's Giggles, right?
Yeah, that's Giggles. He's just kind of a prick and gets away with it. And I thought he'd be a great vehicle for this. The original idea, they weren't clown car mechanics. They were something else, but they were all guys that worked at the same place and did the same thing. But as it just kind of evolved after Kevin, so I found Kevin through we worked together on some video projects. He's done some videos for me and my other musical outfits, and he hit me to his band, Lords of Sin, and I came over and I listened to him rehearse, and I was absolutely blown away by the capability that this band was showing, and the songs were so good. And then they did some recording that came out amazing. Easily one of the hottest unsigned, unknown bands in Los Angeles. And there's a lot of them. And they're really the real deal. I was blown away by the authenticity of how they played their music. So I was just assisting their well-being. And at one point, I just mentioned it to the guys. I kind of not even fully even thinking that they would do it, but just like, I need to say this out loud to somebody that's not going to get it. We've hung out a few times now.
Yeah.
How does this, a friend of mine used to say a song always sounds different when someone else walks into the room. So I needed to say this out loud to a group of musicians and have them look at me like I'm fucking nuts. But there was something about there's something that speaks to the disenfranchised, that speaks to abuse of power, that speaks to misogyny, that speaks to all kinds of crazy things in both bands. And when you put the two of them together and you play one, you play the other, you play one, you play the other, they're really not that different.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
There's feel things that are different, and Faith No More obviously has a different bounce than Gwar. But when you highlight the lyrical content of certain songs and put it together, it's not The Wizard of Oz and Pink Floyd, but there's a synchronicity that happens. And when that synchronicity is matched by the performance art vehicle side of it, then that's what this is. This is basically, I just broke it down, but this is basically just performance art. It's an anti-band band. We're not.
What does that mean?
We're not trying to succeed.
Okay.
So what these guys do, they work all day on clown cars, and they get together after work and they crack some beers and they jam these songs. They don't claim ownership of these songs. They just jam these songs. We're not trying to get on the radio. We're not trying to write a hit. We're not trying to get the girls to like us. This is an anti-band band. We're doing everything the exact opposite that any other band in Los Angeles would be doing right now. It has no feelings. You can't hurt it. We're not offended if you don't come. If you come, it's gonna be a fucking party.
It's
But
gonna be a
if you
huge
don't
party.
come, it's so it kind of exists in just a
Bring your
different
clown
space.
cars. Bring all your friends.
Exactly. We're not trying to compete with anybody. Where it's completely ignorant of what bands on the modern rock landscape sound like today. It has no knowledge of that. It lives inside of an auto body shop and it dies inside of an auto body shop. And this is them making it public because they need the money.
Hmm.
You know, as you can imagine, the clown car business is drying up, you know, tariffs, yada, yada, yada.
It's a rough world.
Yeah,
for
it was either this or an OnlyFans, and you know, we flipped a coin, and the playing a gig won. So,
Wow, I don't even know where to go from
Wait,
there.
Tom,
So, God, what do I want to ask? Is there will there be blood? I guess is one question. Like,
No.
what is there gonna be like a show component to it? I mean, I know you dress up and everything, but you know, it's just strange that you're in a good way that you're stripping Gwar of its theatricality and like recontextualizing it into your own thing, which is just like what a weird thing to do. I've had other Gwar tribute bands on this show, and they have their own Gwar costumes. And actually, last month I saw Rog, which was the world's best Gwar tribute band. Which,
yeah,
funny enough, a lot of people there did not know that it was going to just be Gwar out of costume. So the joke was actually on them, and it was fun to see. I was like, there's not going to be any blood tonight. They're like, oh, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. It's just them. They didn't know. It was great. So like, you don't even claim to be a tribute band, really. You're saying you're recontextualizing the songs. Kevin, what do you have to add to this? Like, what's your? I don't even know like what to ask next. It's just so crazy to me, and I love it for that.
I think it's pretty much what Piggy said, broke it down. It was just us hanging out, literally us hanging out as a band. Piggy would come out, we would hang out, we would jam, and he did bring this idea up, and I'm like, well, we're already hanging out, we're already doing something, bro. Like, what? Like, let's jam, like, you know what I mean? And he was like, what if we bring it like this in this project and make it an art performance? I'm like,
You're like, sure.
I love it. Like I said, I grew up being a photography. I do music videos. That's how we met on set. And for me, it was just a way, an outlet to express this other side of me that just needed to get out, because I could also relate to this character that Piggy was introducing to us. You know, he was like, hey, well, what if you bring? I'm like, you know what? In a way, I kind of relate to that too. You know, it's
an
outlet for that creative juice. Just me personally, at least, to let out and listen to these songs and the way they flow, and growing up just watching these bands, hearing them, and now being able to perform them. I'm like, yes.
So let me ask you this angle. As the musician here in the band, because Piggy, you're just singing, right? In this one, do the music of Gwar and Faith No More, like when you actually combine them musically, does it flow like with the tunings and just like the style? Like, is it surprising to you how they, could have been written by one band, so to speak?
I was shockingly surprised. Yeah, because first, originally we started off with just Gwar songs. We were just talking about this actually on last rehearsal. We're like, remember when we just had like 3 Gwar songs that we were just like, hey, let's just jam because, let's have fun. We like hanging out with each other. Let's just jam. And now we have like a set list and a show, and we're playing a show. We're like, what? So we did encounter certain I wouldn't say obstacles, more like realizations as to what we needed to do to make it flow better, especially with the tuning of the guitars. We
Right,
had to
because I know Gwar's always in E flat, right? And then I don't know what Faith No More is, probably all over the place, right?
Bingo, you nailed it exactly.
Yeah.
For that same reason, when we were literally switching guitars in rehearsal, going, okay, let's go back to regular tuning. Okay, now E flat. And then we came to a point where like, well, are we gonna really do this? It's not like, no, let's just keep it easy. We're having fun, you know. And I think that's the key word to this project, to this band is it's fun. The key word is to have fun with it, you know. So going back to the tuning, I would say we came up to the decision to just leave it in B flat. I mean, sorry, E flat. And at first it was weird. You remember that, Pig? And we were like playing them because we were just, our ear was just so used to Faith No More and regular. And then we were just like, what is it? Us? What is going on? So we took some time adjusting and ear adjusting mainly, and it flowed so great. Now we're coming in there, and it's like, oh, what's on the set? Oh, cool. All right,
So is
now.
it? Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask, like, can you reveal any of the set list and or how it's gonna be constructed? Is it gonna be Faith No More Gwar, Faith No More Gwar, or is it just gonna be a set of Gwar, a set of Faith No More? Like, what can you reveal?
You want to take this one, bro?
And if nothing, that's cool too. I know there's gonna be an element of surprise, I'm sure.
I'll tell you where I think. Well, because this is a GWARPod. Where I hovered around a lot from song selection was This Toilet Earth, because I feel like that album is not only criminally underrated as a whole, but yeah, man,
yes,
it's
cover, bro.
Even with controversial song omitted or not omitted.
Let's see, is it on this one? Actually, I don't think it is.
I was a first day
BDF,
buyer,
man.
I was a first day buyer, and I was lucky to get it.
Me too. I have it on CD. Yeah.
What a ripper beyond ripper.
I saw them play it live once, actually.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. But that album, to me, there's a real fear of, you know, that was like post Iraq war.
Yeah, Saddam Go-Go.
Yeah, there was a lot of political influence in there. They had just lost the Grammy and gone through that whole thing. So I feel like This Toilet Earth in the Gwar catalog of the Brocky era is a creative peak.
I agree. It's actually, you probably don't know this about me, but it's not only my favorite Gwar album, it's probably my favorite album of all time. This Toilet Earth.
Wow.
So like, I relate to that album more than any other album I think I've ever listened to.
That's great to know.
It's just bizarrely a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And
they played Slap You Around last night, just so you know.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible.
But it was one early version of the set list was Scum Dogs heavy, and then another version was This Toilet Earth heavy, and then it was really kind of all over the place. And I still feel like there's probably more of This Toilet Earth in the set list if I'm pulling from one record. But it just lyrically, some of the stuff that he went into on that, and musically too, it's just next level. It's the whole thing in a blender, but on 10, and creatively it peaked. And I'll say this too, like, as much as, because you're a Real Thing guy, so Patton's voice obviously had a very big impression on you too as a young listener. Brocky's voice hit me the same way. And I always thought he had this like Huey Lewis type rasp to his voice. Yeah. He could hit these cool high notes, but he naturally just had this smoky howl about him, and his voice was the raddest instrument in the band to me. And live it was always a little bit muffled and a little bit faster, and the sound was crazy, and he just kind of was getting through the song because there's a gag and I'm not knocking him, but I'm just saying, on the records with a producer going, no, do it again. The shit they captured vocally out of him, the shit he left behind on the planet is fucking special stuff to me, man. Like his vocal performances on some of those records are just unmatched by any, and no disrespect to any current incarnation of anything, but like as a guy who appreciates singers and vocal delivery, that dude was top shelf, and no one ever talked about it. And I always felt like if I was to use some of this music, I'm not as good a singer of him, and I'm not trying to be.
Yeah, that's my next question. Like, you picked two really incredible singers to try to utilize here. Can you pull it off? I mean, Mike Patton and Dave Brockie. Wow.
It's the spirit. It's the spirit of it. It's the spirit of their spirits, really. I'm not trying to sing it note perfect. I'm not trying to match their inflections. But they were such a huge bug in my ear as I was really unpacking metal music and rock music in the 90s. Like, those guys consistently, every record, I was getting nutrients out of what they were giving me.
And versatile, very versatile.
Incredibly. And the Peeping Tom record too is one of my favorite records ever made.
Yes, go watch my episode on GWARPod with Amani Coppola, my friend Amani Coppola, who's on my new record.
I didn't know any of that, and I'm totally going to. That's a band no one talks about enough either. But I think that's really it. As I feel like this is it. I never had any personal relationship with anybody in the band, in neither band.
I was gonna say, do these guys? I mean, I could tell you what I found out last night, but to your knowledge, does either of these bands know anything about Faith No Gwar or have any opinions on it?
No, and not that I'm aware of. And to be honest, it wasn't. I saw it as so non-threatening because it's not a tribute band, and we're not trying to be those bands. We're just playing. It could be Metallica songs. It could be anything. So there's not and it's not something that we were like looking to take on tour. The funny thing is, and I did think about this at one point, the way we've built the show now, it would actually be a cool opening band for Gwar, because none of the songs would overlap, and the fans would get to hear other songs that we know they're not going to play. That's me inviting myself to a party that I'm not invited to. But I did.
Hey, that's how it starts.
In all honesty, I did have that thought at one point because the show is so different.
Yeah.
It's for sure gonna be like honoring these bands. That's the way I see it, or at least the way we see it. So it's like honoring, like, we're fans of these bands that we're honoring them, and by hopefully everybody that comes out gets introduced into this music, because yes, it's been around, but to some, like, let's say somebody that hasn't heard it's new to them, you know what I mean? So if we could do these bands like a great honor, just somewhat justice, in playing their songs the way that we're like, hey, you know what, that would be fun to play, and we're just doing that because we're huge fans. We love what they're doing, and we want to say, hey, go check them out.
Totally.
So, I mean, as of now, it's advertised as a one-shot deal, but like, what's the future of this? I know I've heard you talk on other podcasts that maybe this could conceptually lead into something else, or, you know, take on new life after this show, or I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are.
There's a few incarnations of this type of project that don't have anything to do with Faith No More or Gwar. I don't know that it's just too early to tell, but the idea went into this is that this was going to be one of those things. This was performance art. But one interesting thing that none of us have counted on that happened is we started writing original music. which I said from day one. I was like, I don't really have any interest in doing this, just in case, you know, anybody's thinking about the stress of that or whatever. But then it happened, and it's actually pretty good. We're pretty psyched about
Well,
it.
if it sounds like This Toilet Earth and The Real Thing combined, then I'm totally into it.
It was such a fascinating experiment to take five dudes, put them in a room, poison their well as writers and musicians with this music for going on 2 years, and then wait for the output of that. That's what happened, and it was super organic and consensual. And the baby, the offspring of it, is really cool. And now we're like, now we got this kid to worry about. Like, what,
Yeah.
Are we gonna like tell people about it? Like, are we gonna, like we're having those conversations. So as much as it was an anti-band band, it takes a band to be able to pull off that shtick, and the band within that is kind of having a baby, and we're going through all of the feels of that right now. So we've actually put an original song in the set list because it rips. So we'll see.
Awesome.
I don't know.
Is this going? So I live in New York, so I can't come to the show, unfortunately. But is it going to be recorded in any way so that the fans could see it afterwards?
I'm sure someone's gonna someone's gonna film it with their phone. We didn't make any formal plan.
Right.
We kind of wanted it to live in the moment space. Like,
I don't want it to live in the moment. I want to see it.
Yeah, like it's I'm not about to like lock up anybody's phones or any stupid shit.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that too, but if you're not gonna tour it, I want to see it.
I think it would be a fun idea to have some sort of visual representation of the night, and maybe have that be like, hey, you know what? This is the weird idea visually represented for people like, maybe on the East Coast, like you can't see it, but would like to see it. I don't see it being a bad idea. And going back to the vocals, I think people are going to be very stoked and shocked as to how well Piggy is going to sound on these tracks and the original. That's one thing that's I'm like blown away. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, I think he just jumped on the mic and it kills it every time, so the show needs some sort of video for that, so people need to see that.
Plug into that soundboard, man. See what the capabilities are.
We might have to do something.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll ask a few more questions, and we'll land this plane. I know it's about an hour already, if you could believe it. So the set list. I know you won't really reveal it to me. That's fine. But when you actually did write it out, was it conceptually by lyrics or by music, or how did you figure that out at the end?
What a great question.
Great.
Yeah, by lyrics.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I can give one thing away.
Mm-hmm.
The band only orders from, like, when they're at work, when they're in the clown shop, the band only orders from one restaurant, and it's a Chinese food restaurant called Land of Sunshine.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
right.
Gotcha.
So you just figured out what our merch is for the night.
Yeah.
Nice. Everyone's gonna get a fortune.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's, if you can crack the code on that, then there it is.
Well, here's how to order.
Yeah, here's how to order. So that's the space this is living in. We're really paying attention to what everything is saying lyrically and how it sets up what we're just bantering about. Yep.
And I want to show you some of your flyers again, because I know, like, these are very cool. So, like, this stuff with, like, the beer and everything, is this part of the concept in some way? Like, how did you land on this kind of imagery? And there's some just giggles, I think, right?
Another great question. That's also a really good question, Kevin.
And a logo. You got a logo.
the idea of this, and it's funny. Every day I wake up and I try not to read the news, but the news is finding me.
Right.
This is a group of guys that feel disenfranchised in every aspect of their life. They don't make enough money. The skill they have is outdated. The business is drying up. No one's really willing to help them, including their government leaders. They're horrible with women. They can't date. They've all been in jail. They all have some kind of addiction issue. They're everyday average American, right? And these are blue collar guys. And when you see the Budweiser label, you think, I'm getting off at 5. I'm gonna have a beer, and I've been working a trade all day or whatever it is, like. And we're all blue collar guys. We all have day jobs. We all do other, we've all got at least 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get together on Friday nights in a safe space and make this noise. So we're honestly kind of living the reality of the band that we're portraying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lie.
Funny way, in a funny way, that's true.
And so when you see a Budweiser label, and there's been a Modelo one, and there's another one coming.
Yeah. Okay.
It reminds you that this is a blue collar outfit. We are of the people, for the people, by the people, whether you wanted it or not. And that's what this is. This is not some lofty, over your head bullshit. This is a fucking beer label with everything that we're about printed on it for you, and you can read it and choose to pay attention to it. It's unapologetic because it doesn't care.
Great. And then I want you to tell me about the opening band. Are they friends of yours? It's their first show, right?
Yeah. Verona on Venus is Mike Spreitzer, formerly of Devil Driver,
who I've seen with Gwar.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, they used to tour with Gwar a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know who was in the band at the time, but
And at Kevin's suggestion, actually, to check them out, I did, and they're rad.
Great.
They're really cool, and it's their first show too. So we were kind of able to lock arms a little bit and be nervous Nellies all together.
Yeah.
Is there a concept to that band or anything like that?
It's dark, kind of apocalyptic, industrial. I don't know, Kevin, chime in. What do you think?
They're pretty industrial. Mike's been he's a huge industrial fan from conversations that I've had with him. So I want to say it's a blend of 9 Inch Nails with KMF and MD in there, and pretty industrial stuff. I'm a huge industrial fan myself. Metal, punk, and industrial are my top favorite genres. So when I heard him, and I've worked with Devil Driver with Mike for a while, and then I kept asking him, because we had this project FNG, and I was asking him, hey, so how are you? How's it going with Verona, and how are things doing? Is there a chance that maybe you guys want to play live, or how are you doing? Just trying to maybe convince them to do it, because I think they're rad. They're a great band, So the opportunity came. Thankfully, gratefully that he was on board, and everything's coming together great, and definitely a band that you should check out. Verona on Venus for sure.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, there is some industrial connections. Al Jorgensen did produce a song on Scumdogs of the Universe.
Right.
So
that's great. Yeah.
Even in the beginning, Gwar was almost an industrial band, and they still have that, the samples and everything.
Yeah.
There's elements in there.
I just did a ministry video, actually.
Oh, really?
Every day is Halloween, and
you did that?
Yeah, the
oh,
research.
Cool.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, but to the team, you know what I mean. Shout out to the team, Vicente, and everybody that worked on it too. But
I missed the tour. All my friends were there. I'll catch the next one.
So
the
great.
Me one.
The squirrely years, they got down. So
yeah, that was very cool.
Huge ministry fans.
Nice.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've talked everything we could say about Faith No Gwar about, right? Is there anything that I missed that
No, it's cool to be able to speak to an audience that I was telling you at the top of the show. Like, I've been more excited about this interview because
oh, thanks.
I really feel like you're plugged into that fan base, and I don't want them to think it's something it's not. It's so celebratory of the music.
Absolutely.
And the writing of the music that we feel so strong about repurposing it, because these are classic rock songs or something. Like, this is sacred ground.
I mean, it has been like 30 years plus for both of those albums, so.
Right. Yeah. And so we do feel that we're doing the legacy of the music a service by not trying to sound exactly like it and deliver it as a tribute band. It's just it's the spirit of the songs that really shines in the show. The songs are really the star of the show, because the lyrical content and the cleverness of the music is really the driving narrative. We're just the vessels by which it's repurposed.
That's great. Cool. Well, let's close on a little bit of this. I do want to ask you about what else you're doing. Of course, Kevin, is there any Lords of Sin news, and would you consider Lords of Sin like a conceptual band in any way? I know I seen your music videos and that was pretty cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We are working on new stuff. We just released an album last year of October. Go check it out on all music platforms. Currently writing new material as we speak. So I'm juggling the FNG stuff with Piggy, and then we're doing the Lords of Sin stuff. And of course, with we're all just helping each other out at this point,
And is like the Lords of Sin like a characters, or is there a concept to that band in any way?
We're actually leaning on that aspect more, because FNG is rubbing off a lot on the Lords of Sin, which is a very great thing. That for me, being, like I said, just a huge Kiss fan and just being all about theatrics, it's just another gateway for me to just let loose, And I'm looking forward to the Lords of Sin 2.0, another version, another more visually appealing aspect to the Lords of Sin. And now with Piggy's help, I'm sure that it's going to be fucking amazing, just beyond another level that we can't even comprehend right now. But we're working on some ideas we already talked about and discussed, and see what we can get away with,
Yeah.
So
nice.
Please follow us and
check out the album. It's on Spotify. I listened to it there.
And I hope we do everybody a great respect and honor to Faith No More and Gwar and all the fans that love these bands as well, because we are also fans of these bands.
And go watch the music videos. I know, Piggy, you're in one of them, right?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprise. Yeah.
They're really awesome players. They're really awesome players, and they're really awesome songs. This thoughtful, well-constructed songs, and I'm super excited about their future too. I think it's going to be awesome. One of the hardest working bands left in the business, I think.
Excellent. And then Piggy, of course, you've been touring with Marilyn Manson. First of all, in general, how is that going? And here's my real question is, what's it like playing with Gil Sharon? Because I love Gil Sharon. I love his band Stolen Babies. I used to see them all the time before he was in Manson, and I hope they come back. And as a rhythm section, that's my main question for you about that.
It is a joy to come to work.
Thank you. Yeah, Gil, he's an incredible drummer and artist.
It really is. Man. I say it every show, and sometimes out loud to him, and sometimes to myself. I'm like, God damn, I like playing music. I like playing music with all the guys. Honestly, the band's amazing, so fun. But Gil, as a rhythm section, as the guy who notices a drummer first in the band, he is a joy, and little tiny. There's a couple of little moments where we just get to kind of be off leash at the end of the songs, and we get to kind of. It's cool. It's cool. I can't wait to do more with him.
Yeah. Is there another leg of the tour coming up, or I haven't really been following that, but
yeah, we're booked through really kind of the end of the year.
Gotcha. Nice. Yeah. Did you know about Stolen Babies? Have you heard them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And some stuff that I'd kind of missed, he's hit me too after the fact. And I'm with you. I hope they come back.
Yeah.
I think
love
there's a
that
lot
band.
of people that would like to see that band come back.
Yeah. Well, he's so busy touring all the time. So
I know. Everybody's
same problem you have, I'm sure. It's a good problem to have, of course.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I used to see them. They used to come to New York on like every tour, and it's great.
Yeah.
Wow, I think we pretty much did it. Let me do some plugs real quick for myself. Well, first of all, let me go back to the beginning of my slideshow here and show you some pictures from the show last night. Of course, there's the mighty Gwar. I didn't have my professional camera that night, but there's them killing Taylor Swift. That was great. It was weird. They weren't allowed to spray blood on the crowd last night. So there was a lot of disappointed people in white shirts who looked real silly after the show, wearing white at a metal show. But they're playing these really nice theaters, and I guess they have really nice rugs. So there was just little spurts and not really the full splatter. But the band was on fire. There's the new member Grodius, who I did talk to after the show, and I did tell him I was going to talk to you today. And they, as far as I know, just think it's really cool. Like, I don't think they are very concerned about, tribute bands and stuff. They're whatever is cool with them. This is their new music video, just came out, The Great Circus Train Disaster. It's animated. Go check it out. Of course, the Berserker Mode coffee. I've been drinking it. It's delicious. Go get some. I think it's better than the Espresso Destructo, the last brand they had.
I might need to check that out, actually.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. 40th anniversary of Gwar. Of course, go see my pictures of the ROG show on the boat around Manhattan from a couple of weeks ago.
Amazing.
Was in fact just Gwar out of costume. The new EP is coming out later this month, I believe. The Return of Gorgor.
Amazing.
Of course, there's a toy involved. There's a plushie Gorgor coming out. There's these dates are done. There's of course the Mischief Toys Minion that you may be able to still get. I'm not sure.
So cool.
I think they went pretty fast. The new posters, pins. Oh, we're still looking forward to the action figures. Are supposed to come out over the summer, hopefully. Gwar just taking all my money this year. And here's some announcements. Mischief Toys will be the next episode on the show in 2 weeks. Then I have another announcement. Fulminator will be on the show in July. So in about a month from now.
Wow.
I don't know what they are. They're some kind of robots from Puerto Rico, and
it is metal bands.
They love Gwar, and they have lasers. I don't know. We're gonna find out. They say they're OG intergalactic junkies, ex-cosmic warlords, space-time fugitives, and a metal band.
I'll make time for it.
So there's all of that. Go check out some of my recent episodes with Brad Roberts, Hunter Jackson, Bob Gorman. My documentary. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you guys. Being LA, you're all from LA, right? Or around the area?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about Haunted Garage?
Of course.
Yeah. What's your history with Haunted Garage?
Early exposure, just like all the other weird bands.
Did you ever get to see them out there?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I've got some. I had some bootleg VHS tapes at one point.
Really, I'm sure I have them all, but if you still have them, let me know if there's anything I'm missing.
I had a couple. No, and that's your movie?
Yep.
Wow, that's cool. Is it done?
Thank you. Yeah, it's I'm basically sitting on a rough cut, but I'm waiting for some new stuff to come in, and then it's about signing for the company and getting the lawyers to check it all out and all that crap.
Wow.
But yeah, it's like people are just emptying their closets. 4 years later, people are still finding new stuff. I'm scanning negatives nobody's ever seen before, transferring pneumatic tapes, just like crazy stuff.
How
I've done like
cool.
probably about 50 interviews for it.
Amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Super cool.
And it's, there's definitely some Gwar in there. Oh, so here's what I want to tell you about it, because this is like, you ever see PCU?
Yeah.
You know that point where the guy on the couch watching TV is like, I finally, this is my thesis. These two people are in the same movie at the same time. I can stop watching TV. I kind of have that moment for you in the documentary where I actually interviewed Billy Gould from Faith No More for the documentary about Haunted Garage, and he talks about Gwar a little bit in it and how he thinks, they were kind of connected. So your whole thing is like a line in my movie too. It's the guy from Faith No More talking about Gwar.
That's funny.
So stay tuned. Yes, members of Faith No More, L7.
The multiverse is real.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then they are like a LA phenomenon, I don't know if they were a phenomenon, but they never really left LA. So they're kind of like a legacy of LA theatrical rock music,
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's special stuff.
That's
good
great.
for you with the movie.
Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm working on it, guys. It's a long process when you're a one-man band. Of course, go check out my album featuring Imani Coppola of Peeping Tom. Although she's not on the record, she was in the live band. And my band Pop Perversion, which doesn't really have anything out yet, but go find us because it's going to be very exciting when we do.
Love it.
And that's it. I think we did it. Faith No Gwar.
Thanks, Kevin.
How did you come up with that name? Yeah.
It was all we had. It was
fngisfun.com is the website where you can go find everything.
Yeah. If they don't know it's Faith No Gwar, they'll think it's just, farting or fucking or fisting.
Yeah.
Or something else.
Get creative with it.
It works. It works in every way.
Right. There's something in there for everybody.
And there's the show in 2 weeks, right?
Yay.
Are you guys ready? Are you ready for it?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we are.
Definitely.
Where can they get tickets? That the Whiskey A Go?
Yep, you go to
your website.
And or fngisfun.com. We'll link you there. And
social media, the stories they'll have the link as well on FNG's Instagram. You can click on that. It's really easy as well. The whiskey, the link, and website as well. Check out the website.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. This was a real thrill. If you haven't, go check out The Real Thing, guys. It's a great album on cassette. Get the blue cassette.
This
and get
hot
the
new
full
record.
1990 experience.
I strongly recommend it.
And if you enjoyed this, like, share, and subscribe. Help me fight the algorithm. Share this with a friend. And all the things, help support me so I can keep bringing you great content like Faith No Gwar. And all right, thank you guys. Like,
Thanks,
share,
Kevin.
subscribe, and comment below.
Like, share, subscribe.